In the blink of an eye, the first shots were fired. The aliens, confident in their victory, launched a barrage of laser fire towards Earth's fleet. The attack was swift and devastating. The energy beams shot through space, hitting Earth's ships with the power to crush anything in their path. But Earth's ships were ready. The Indomitable and its fleet of smaller vessels deployed their energy shields at the last possible moment. The laser blasts struck the shields, causing massive explosions, but the shields held. Earth's ships rocked under the impact, but they did not fall. The aliens froze. How could this be? Their weapons were supposed to be unstoppable. Their ships were designed to crush any enemy, yet the human shields had stopped them. This was the first sign of doubt among the alien forces. They had expected the humans to be easily defeated, but now they were unsure. "Captain Vrek," a voice cried out from the Nerath's command deck. "Their shields are absorbing our fire. What is this technology?" Vrek's face turned red with anger. He had underestimated the humans, and now his arrogance was coming back to haunt him. "Increase firepower," he ordered, his voice sharp with frustration. "Crush them. Show them the true power of the Galactic Council." The alien ships fired again, this time with full intensity. The lasers slammed into the human shields, but still, Earth's fleet held firm. One by one, the alien ships began to lose confidence. This was no ordinary battle. The humans were not as weak as they had believed. On the Indomitable, Admiral Jameson stood at the helm, her eyes cold and focused. "They'll keep firing," she said, her voice steady. "But they won't break us. Not today." The aliens continued their assault, but Earth's fleet stood strong. The aliens had come expecting an easy victory, but they were now faced with something they had never expected: resistance. The humans were not backing down. They were not afraid. The Galactic Council watched in shock as the battle raged on. The humans were fighting back, and they were not losing. It was the beginning of something the aliens had never imagined. Humanity was ready to take a stand, and the Galactic Council was about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the power of humanity. The first strike. The silence of space was shattered by the roar of weapons. As the first wave of laser blasts struck Earth's fleet, a sense of dread settled over the aliens. They had expected the humans to fall in the face of their might, but that hadn't happened. Instead, Earth's fleet had weathered the storm, standing tall against the alien onslaught. Admiral Evelyn Jameson stood at the command station of the Indomitable, her gaze fixed on the holographic display. The alien ships had already launched their first attack, a devastating barrage meant to obliterate everything in its path. Yet, despite the sheer force of the assault, Earth's fleet had held strong. Their energy shields, designed by Earth's best scientists, had absorbed the blasts. For a moment, the aliens hesitated, confused by the strength of the humans' defenses. But Commander Zorn, the leader of the Volturi species, was not one to be easily deterred. His anger boiled over as he watched the humans stand firm. "This is impossible," he shouted from the command deck of the Nerath. "We must crush them now, before they realize what they're capable of." With a swift command, the alien fleet changed its tactics. Their ships began to surround Earth's fleet, hoping to trap them in a deadly pincer move. Earth's ships, though smaller and fewer in number, scattered to avoid being surrounded. They were agile, weaving in and out of the alien attack, while the aliens, confident in their firepower, closed in. On the Indomitable, Admiral Jameson turned to her crew. "We can't just keep defending. We need to make a move," she said, her voice steady. "Prepare the fleet for a counterattack." Her orders were swift and precise. The human ships were well-trained and disciplined. The crew of the Indomitable worked in unison, preparing their weapons and coordinating the defense. Every human ship in the fleet moved with purpose, each one making sure the other was covered. They were a small but united force, determined to show the galaxy they were more than just an afterthought. "We're ready," Commander Torres reported, his voice calm but serious. "Launch counterstrike," Jameson ordered, her eyes narrowing. At that moment, Earth's fleet launched their first attack. Smaller, more nimble than the alien ships, they moved quickly, firing precision shots at the alien fleet's vulnerable spots. The humans knew that they couldn't win by brute force alone. They had to outsmart their enemies. The alien ships were caught off guard. The humans were using tactics they hadn't expected. Earth's ships slipped between the alien lines, launching rapid-fire missiles and targeting weak spots on the alien hulls. The aliens fired back in retaliation, but the humans were quick, evading shots and firing back with precision. Admiral Jameson watched the chaos unfold on the screen. Her fleet was not winning, but they were holding their ground, and that was more than the aliens had expected. The aliens were no longer laughing. The tide was beginning to turn. Direct hit on their rear engines. Commander Torres called out. "One of their ships is disabled." Jameson allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Keep it up, everyone. We have to make them realize we're not just a target." The alien fleet, though large and powerful, was now scrambling. The humans had caught them off guard with their unpredictable tactics. Alien ships began to retreat slightly, trying to regroup and figure out what the humans were doing. The arrogance that had once filled the alien commanders' minds began to crack. Captain Freck, from the Neurath, was furious. His fleet had been hit in ways he hadn't prepared for. "What are they doing?" he shouted. "These humans, they're not fighting like any race we've ever faced." Zorn, who had been watching the battle unfold, spoke through clenched teeth. "It doesn't matter. We will crush them. We will break their spirits. Just concentrate all fire on their largest ships." The alien ships fired once again, this time with all their might. The blasts rained down on Earth's fleet, and several smaller ships were damaged in the process. The humans had been caught off guard for a moment, but they quickly adjusted. "Shields holding," Commander Torres called out, his voice filled with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "They can't penetrate the shields, but the fleet's taking heavy damage. We need more time." "Then we give them more time," Jameson said firmly. "Divert power to the shields and prepare for another attack." Despite the overwhelming odds, the humans weren't retreating. Earth's fleet was determined to show the alien forces that humanity would not be so easily defeated. Even if they couldn't win the battle, they would make sure the galaxy knew that the humans were a force to be reckoned with. As the alien ships continued their assault, Admiral Jameson's thoughts were clear. "We may be outnumbered, but we will not be silenced. Not today." The secrets of humanity. The battle between Earth's fleet and the alien armada raged on. The aliens, though vastly superior in numbers and firepower, were starting to show signs of hesitation. Earth's fleet, though small, was relentless. Despite the overwhelming odds, the humans refused to back down. Their tactics were unpredictable, and their resolve was unshakable. In the heart of the alien fleet, aboard the Neurath, Commander Zorn paced back and forth in frustration. His ships were still firing, trying to break through Earth's defenses, but the humans were proving to be far more resourceful than he had anticipated. They had only fired a few shots, but every single one seemed to find its mark. He gritted his teeth, glaring at the holographic map of the battlefield. "This cannot be happening," Zorn muttered. "How are they holding up? Their technology is far behind ours. Their ships are ancient compared to ours." The Galactic Council's leaders, seated in their command room, watched the battle unfold. They had once laughed at the thought of humanity being a threat. But now, there was uncertainty in the air. The humans weren't just surviving. They were fighting back in ways the Council couldn't understand. "The humans must have a hidden weapon," said Counselor Threx, a member of the Psyloth species. "Their ships shouldn't be able to resist our firepower. Their technology is too primitive." Captain Vreck, who had been standing silently, his face flushed with anger, finally spoke up. "We will crush them. The sooner we break their defenses, the sooner we can teach them a lesson they'll never forget. But the more the alien forces attacked, the more they realized something was wrong. Every shot they fired at Earth's ships seemed to be absorbed by an unknown force. The humans were not using shields. They were using something else, something more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen. On Earth's flagship, Admiral Jameson stood at the command station, her gaze focused on the alien fleet as they continued their assault. Despite the damage to some of her ships, she remained calm. The humans were holding their ground, but Jameson knew this battle was only the beginning. It was just a matter of time before the aliens figured out the secret to Earth's unexpected resistance. "We need to buy more time," Jameson said, her voice steady. "They're starting to figure it out." Commander Torres, who had been monitoring the battle, looked over at her. "Admiral, our fleet is holding, but we can't keep this up forever. Their weapons are too powerful." Jameson nodded. "I know, but we got something they don't expect. Something they won't see coming." Torres raised an eyebrow. "What are you talking about?" Jameson paused, her mind racing as she formulated a plan. "The aliens think we're weak because we've always been on the defensive. They think we don't have the technology or the resources to fight back. But what they don't know is that we've been preparing for this moment for years." Torres frowned. "Preparing how?" "We've been working in secret," Jameson said quietly, "developing weapons and technology they can't even imagine. We've been hiding our true potential." The truth was that Earth's military had been preparing for this moment long before the aliens had ever set their sights on humanity. For decades, Earth's brightest minds had been working on new technologies, energy shields, weapons, and strategies that the rest of the galaxy had never seen. The humans had learned from their past, from their wars and struggles, and they had adapted. They were no longer the weak, defenseless species the aliens had once believed them to be. "Activate the secondary systems," Jameson ordered. "Let's show them what we've been hiding." The crew scrambled to follow her orders. As they engaged the secondary systems, Earth's fleet began to change. The alien forces, still under the impression that the humans were just struggling to hold on, watched in confusion as Earth's ships began to glow with a strange, unfamiliar energy. The humans had done something they hadn't expected. They had turned the tide of the battle with their hidden technology. Back aboard the Nirath, the alien commanders were staring at the screens in disbelief. The humans had just activated something they had never seen before. Their ships seemed to be growing stronger, their shields more resilient. Even as the alien fleet continued their assault, it felt as though Earth's ships were getting stronger. The energy pulses from the human ships were now hitting the alien fleet with a force that caused serious damage. "What is this?" Captain Freck exclaimed, his hands gripping the console. "Their ships. How are they doing this?" The council members exchanged uncertain glances. They had underestimated humanity's resourcefulness, and now they were paying the price. The alien forces had assumed Earth's fleet was a joke. But now, they were learning the hard way that humanity had secrets that could turn the tide of this battle. Admiral Jameson stood on the bridge, watching as the alien ships started to retreat, slowly but surely. The humans had struck back with a force the aliens had never anticipated. Earth's fleet might have been small, but it was now making the aliens question everything they thought they knew about humanity. "Let them retreat," Jameson said, her voice filled with determination. "They don't know the half of it. Earth's fleet wasn't just defending itself, it was preparing for something much larger. The galaxy would soon realize that humanity was no longer a weak, overlooked species. Earth had kept its secrets hidden for too long. And now, the aliens were about to discover the true strength of the human race." The unexpected counterattack. The battle was far from over. The alien fleet had withdrawn temporarily, trying to regroup after the shock of humanity's unexpected resistance. Earth's fleet, battered but determined, continued to press forward. The aliens had underestimated the humans, thinking that their advanced technology and overwhelming numbers would ensure an easy victory. But now, the aliens were questioning everything they had believed about Earth's capabilities. Admiral Evelyn Jameson stood in the command center of the Indomitable, her eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. The alien ships had retreated, but they were not giving up. They were regrouping, preparing for another attack. And this time, they would be even more determined to crush Earth's fleet. "We can't let them recover," Jameson said, her voice calm yet filled with urgency. "If we give them a chance to regroup, they'll come back stronger. We need to hit them hard before they have time to plan their next move." Commander Torres, who had been monitoring the status of the fleet, nodded. "Their ships are damaged, but they're still a formidable force. It won't be easy." "I know," Jameson replied, her gaze narrowing. "But we have something they don't. Surprise." She turned to her crew. "Prepare for a counterattack. I want every ship in position. We hit them fast and hard, before they can launch their next offensive." Earth's fleet, though smaller in size, had been prepared for this moment. The humans had been using their advanced technology, which the aliens had been unable to comprehend. The aliens had assumed Earth's fleet was too weak to mount a meaningful counteroffensive, but now humanity was about to prove them wrong. As the orders were relayed, the human ships began to move into position, their formations tighter than ever before. They were no longer just a group of scattered vessels trying to hold their ground. The humans were moving with purpose and precision. The once unorganized fleet now looked like a well-oiled machine, each ship working together to form a wall of firepower. The aliens were not prepared for this level of coordination. On the Neurath, Captain Vrek watched in disbelief as the human fleet reformed itself. "What are they doing? They should be retreating, not regrouping. What are they planning?" Commander Zorn, who had been monitoring the human fleet's movements, scowled. "They're preparing for something. They're trying to turn the tide in their favor, but they're too small, too weak." He was wrong. As Earth's fleet moved into position, Admiral Jameson gave the order. "All ships, fire on my mark." The aliens hadn't expected this. They were still regrouping, still trying to figure out how to break Earth's defenses, but the humans had already made their move. "Mark," Jameson shouted. The moment her words left her mouth, the human ships fired. The barrage of missiles and energy pulses rained down on the alien fleet, targeting weak points and vulnerable spots. The alien ships, which had been moving into a defensive formation, were caught off guard. The first wave of missiles hit their shields with incredible force, causing explosions and rippling shockwaves. The aliens scrambled to react, but it was too late. The humans had struck fast and hard, hitting them where it hurt the most. On the Neurath, Vrek cursed under his breath. "What are they using? These weapons, they've never been seen before." Earth's counterattack was relentless. The human fleet's advanced energy cannons and missiles pierced through the alien defenses, causing critical damage to their ships. The smaller human ships darted in and out of the battle, targeting vulnerable alien vessels while staying out of the line of fire. Every shot was calculated, precise, and deadly. Direct hit on their main reactor. Commander Torres called out from the command center of the Indomitable. "One of their battleships is down." The crew of the Indomitable erupted in cheers. The humans had taken down one of the alien flagship vessels, a huge blow to the alien fleet's morale. But Admiral Jameson remained calm. "Keep pushing," she ordered. "We need to keep them off balance." The aliens were now in full retreat, their ships scattering in an attempt to avoid further destruction. The humans had struck harder than anyone had expected, and the aliens were reeling from the unexpected onslaught. For the first time, the aliens were the ones who were unprepared. Captain Vrek stared at the unfolding chaos on his ship's display screen. "Retreat. Get us out of here," he ordered, but his voice was full of panic. Commander Zorn, his face a mask of fury, slammed his fist against the console. "We can't retreat. We can't let them win." But it was too late. The humans were not only defending their ground, they were taking the fight to the aliens. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ability to fight back, and now they were paying the price. Admiral Jameson watched the alien fleet scatter. Her face showed no signs of relief, only determination. Don't let them regroup. We keep the pressure on them until they've learned their lesson. Earth's fleet, battered but unbroken, was now on the offensive. They had turned the tide, and the aliens were beginning to realize that they had made a grave mistake underestimating humanity. The battle was far from over. But for the first time, the aliens knew that they were not facing a weak, defenseless species. They were facing humanity, and humanity was not so easily defeated. The alien collapse. The alien fleet was in disarray. Earth's unexpected counterattack had shattered their confidence, and now the aliens were scrambling to regain their footing. For the first time in the battle, they weren't the hunters, they were the hunted. Commander Zorn gripped the railing of the command deck of the Neurath, his face pale with frustration and disbelief. The humans had done something he had never seen before. Their counterstrike wasn't just a show of force, it was a statement. They were no longer fighting to survive, they were fighting to win. Status report. Zorn barked, his voice filled with anger. Admiral, their fleet is tightening their formations, Captain Vrek reported, his voice tinged with panic. They're not running. They're pushing forward again. It's like they've gained strength. Zorn clenched his fists. They have no right to be this strong. They should be cowering before us. But the truth was undeniable. The human fleet had proven resilient in ways the aliens had never anticipated. Their ships, though smaller, had advanced in ways the Volturi couldn't comprehend. And now, Earth's fleet was moving like a well-coordinated fist, each ship working together, creating a wall of firepower that the alien forces could not breach. On Earth's flagship, the Indomitable, Admiral Jameson surveyed the battlefield with a calm, unflinching gaze. The alien fleet had been thrown off balance by their counterattack, and now it was time to finish what had been started. The aliens had underestimated humanity's resolve, and it had cost them dearly. "We have them on the ropes," Jameson said quietly. "It's time we deliver the final blow." Commander Torres, who had been monitoring the fleet's weapon systems, looked up from his console. "Admiral, we've taken down 3 of their flagship vessels. Their morale is crumbling. They're retreating faster now. We can't let them escape," Jameson replied firmly. "Finish the job. Lock on to their escape routes and destroy them before they regroup." With a series of quick commands, Earth's fleet once again engaged the alien armada. This time, the aliens were not prepared for the force that was about to hit them. Their shields, already weakened by the earlier attacks, now faltered under the renewed onslaught. The once proud alien ships, with their superior technology, were now being picked apart by the humans' relentless barrage. "We've breached their main shields," Commander Torres called out, his voice filled with surprise and determination. Direct hit to their fleet's command vessel. The Neurath, the flagship of the alien fleet, was now a sitting target. Earth's ships focused their firepower on the alien flagship, and it wasn't long before explosions rippled through the alien vessel. The once mighty Neurath began to break apart, and the Volturi fleet, in disarray, began to panic. Admiral Jameson watched as the alien fleet turned tail, fleeing toward the outer edges of the system. But it was too late. The damage had been done, and the alien commanders knew they were facing an opponent they had never seen before. The human fleet had broken their will, and now it was just a matter of time before the entire alien armada was defeated. "We've won," Torres said, his voice filled with a sense of disbelief. Jameson nodded slowly, her eyes still fixed on the flickering holographic map. "We've shown them what happens when you underestimate humanity." As the alien fleet fled, Jameson allowed herself a moment of triumph. The aliens had laughed at humanity, mocked them for being weak, and yet it was the humans who had emerged victorious. It was a message to the galaxy. Humanity was no longer the underdog. They were no longer the species to be ignored. On the Neurath, Zorn stood amid the chaos. The alien fleet was falling apart, and the Neurath was severely damaged. He was losing the battle. He slammed his fist onto the control panel, his anger boiling over. "Get us out of here," Zorn ordered. "We cannot afford to lose this fleet." The alien ships, now scattered and battered, began their retreat, leaving behind the remnants of their once mighty force. It was clear to anyone who was watching that the aliens had failed. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. Admiral Jameson stood tall on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching as the alien fleet retreated into the distance. The battle was over, but the message had been sent. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed. And the aliens would not forget this day. "The galaxy will know our name," Jameson said quietly, her voice filled with resolve. "Humanity has made its mark." The galactic reaction. News of Earth's victory spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The once dismissed human race had defied the odds and defeated one of the most powerful fleets in the known universe. The Galactic Council, who had once laughed at the idea of humanity being a threat, was now scrambling to understand how this was possible. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, members from all corners of the galaxy convened. The Volturi defeat was the talk of every species. Councillor Threx, a towering Xyloth, stood at the head of the table. His many eyes narrowed in disbelief as he reviewed the reports. "This cannot be true," Threx said, his voice heavy with skepticism. "How could the humans have done this? Their technology is primitive compared to ours. They are barely out of their planetary infancy." Councillor Ryloth, a stern-faced Everin, shook his head. "The reports are clear. They've destroyed nearly half of the Volturi fleet. We can no longer deny that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." A murmur of unease swept through the council chambers. For centuries, the Galactic Council had been the governing body of the galaxy. It was their word that had shaped the fate of countless species. Yet now, for the first time, they were facing an enemy they hadn't prepared for, a species they had dismissed as insignificant. In the council chambers, panic began to set in. Councillor Grit, a member of the Gravari species, who had once ridiculed the idea of a human threat, now spoke up, his voice tinged with fear. "We underestimated them. We thought their technology was weak, their species disorganized. But now, the humans have shown us they possess something far more dangerous: resolve." Councillor Ziltra, an Aslorn with long, flowing tentacles, had been watching the situation unfold from a far corner of the room. She had long believed that humanity was more than met the eye, but even she was shocked by the speed and strength with which Earth had turned the tide of battle. "The humans are not just using advanced weapons," she said, her voice steady and calculated. "They are resourceful. They adapt quickly, and they fight with a passion that we have not seen in other species. This is not a race we can dismiss any longer." In a distant part of the galaxy, Admiral Jameson sat in the quiet of her flagship, the Indomitable. Earth had won the battle, but the war, if you could even call it that, was far from over. Jameson knew that the victory would echo across the galaxy, and that would bring both opportunities and threats. Her crew had celebrated the victory, but Jameson remained focused. This was just the beginning. The aliens had been sent a clear message, but the consequences of humanity's newfound power were still unfolding. A new era for humanity. The galaxy was never the same after humanity's victory. The once mighty Volturi had been humbled, and their fleet was in ruins. The Galactic Council, shaken by humanity's unexpected strength, had begun to reconsider its stance on Earth. No longer the insignificant species they had once dismissed, humanity was now at the forefront of galactic politics. Admiral Evelyn Jameson stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, gazing out at the stars. The battle was over, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had just begun. The counselors had already started reaching out, curious, cautious, and in some cases, desperate to understand how a relatively primitive species had achieved such a monumental victory. "We've proven ourselves," Commander Torres said, breaking the silence. But now comes the hard part. The Council will want answers. They'll want to know how we did it, and they'll want to know how they can use us or stop us. Jameson nodded, her expression serious. It's not just about how we did it. It's about what happens next. The galaxy has seen our strength, and now we have to decide what kind of role we want to play. We can't be seen as just a military force. We need to show the galaxy that we have more to offer. Torres raised an eyebrow. Like what? Leadership, Jameson replied, turning to face him. We don't just fight to win. We fight for something greater. We fight for the freedom to make our own choices, to stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves. We need to show the galaxy that humanity is not just a force to be reckoned with, but a force for good. As the Indomitable continued its journey back to Earth, Jameson thought about the path ahead. The Volturi had learned their lesson, but the Council was not the only challenge. There were factions, species, and powers out there who would not be happy with humanity's rise to prominence. And it was inevitable. Some would try to bring humanity down, while others would see them as a valuable ally. Back on Earth, humanity had begun to heal from the conflict. The loss of life had been significant, but the victory had united the people in a way nothing else could. The victory was not just for Earth, but for the future of humanity. The humans were no longer the underdogs. The galaxy had seen their potential, and now it was up to them to decide what kind of legacy they would leave behind. On the steps of the United Nations headquarters, President Alexander Grant addressed the people of Earth. His voice echoed through the large square, broadcast to every corner of the planet. This victory is not just ours, Grant said, his voice strong and proud. It belongs to every man, woman, and child on Earth. We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. But this is just the beginning. We must now work together with the other species to create a future of peace, unity, and cooperation. We will not let our power be our downfall. We will not be a species ruled by fear. We will be a species that leads with strength and compassion. The crowds erupted in cheers, their hearts swelling with pride. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. The alien species who had once looked down upon Earth were now forced to reckon with it. As President Grant finished his speech, a sleek alien vessel descended from the skies, landing in the middle of the square. The crowd hushed in anticipation. Earth had already made a bold statement, but now it was time to see how the rest of the galaxy would respond. The doors of the alien ship opened, and a figure stepped out, a representative from the Galactic Council. The alien's appearance was unlike any species humanity had encountered before, with shimmering, silver skin and eyes that seemed to pierce into the very soul. The representative spoke in a deep, resonant voice. Humanity has proven itself. The Volturi have been defeated, and the galaxy is now taking notice. The Galactic Council wishes to offer humanity a seat at the table. The crowd remained silent as the weight of the moment sank in. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer just a participant in the galaxy. They had earned their place among the stars. Will we accept? President Grant asked, his voice steady. Will we join the council? Jameson, who had been watching from afar, felt a surge of pride. The decision would not be easy, but it was one humanity needed to make. The path ahead was uncertain, but humanity was no longer powerless. They had proven their strength, their resolve, and their ability to fight for what was right. Yes, Jameson whispered to herself, as the representative from the Galactic Council waited for Earth's response. We will lead, not just for us, but for the future of the galaxy. The future was now wide open for humanity. The galaxy had seen what they were capable of, and now the stars themselves beckoned. It was a new era, a new beginning, and humanity would be there, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.